Hey everyone, I'm Lady.
And I'm Alana.
And this is Spookery. It's been a hot minute and we still never forget the theme song.
It's the most beautiful theme song that is known to man. And to the ghosts.
And to the ghosts. It's Spookery certified, ghost verified? Spookery certified.
Ghost verified, Spookery certified.
There we go. We figured it out. It feels like, I know it hasn't been a long time for you listeners, but it feels like a hot minute for me. And I'm like, how do I do this again? What am I doing? What am I recording? It's my turn.
We're shaking off the cobwebs. We're getting back into it.
We got a little stationary, but it's all good. We're back.
Yes.
We're here. I am ready to tell you a heckin' story.
Yes, and I am ready to receive this beautiful true crime episode from you, ma'am.
Yes, if you guys remember, my category is hearts and spades, which of course means that hearts are going to break and spades are going to dig holes in the ground. Probably.
That's what that means.
That's what that means, probably. Don't come for me.
That's what I always imagined it to be, honest. Just to break down that category, that is how I always imagine that is, like you said, like hearts, like there's someone's breaking hearts and spades in the ground, like it, I don't know.
Yep. I mean, I think that's why we chose the name, because it was like very on the nose. But then I think because I've had this category twice for 2 different seasons, and my last one was very literal. It was like literally broken heart in the ground.
Yes, it was very literal. I don't know if you did that on purpose, but it fit the category to a T.
I think I didn't do it on purpose, but then as soon as I picked my category, I was like, oh, whoops, I've been very on the nose with this one. So I think I was a little softer on this one. I still hit the category criteria, but I'm not as literal this time. Or maybe I am. Who knows?
Or, yes, it's still early. We have no clue yet.
I know. Who knows? I don't know. We'll find out. Only I know, and even I don't know.
Well, tease us. Give us a little something. We gotta break into it.
All right. So this, I think, much like my last Hearts and Space case, this is another recent one, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is our most recent case we've ever covered.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
And I don't know. Maybe that's just the Hearts and Spades. It's like, it feels like a modern crime rather than like a 1800s crime, even though there were definitely broken hearts and shovels in the ground in the 1800s.
True. I think maybe they were just covered up better back then. Not as much forensic evidence and things.
Or maybe it was just like, oh, did you hear the old widow's buried another husband? Oh, what's that? 7 times this month? Well, her fortune surely escalates. And then they just sort of like don't do anything about it because they're like,
what can be done?
The widow donates to the orphanage, and really that's, the only good thing going on in this town. So good for her. She's doing the damn thing.
Well, and also, if you're the 7th husband, I mean, how did you not hear about the first 6? Where were you?
I don't know. Maybe he had his head buried in the ground, quite literally. That's the spades portion of our Hearts and Spades.
It's true.
But yes, no, this is a much more modern. I think the actual, it's 2014 is, I believe, my year. So we're getting like kind of recent. This is in like the same decade.
2014. I don't know why that year, there's a case specifically that I know about that is a Hearts and Spade category that falls in 2014, if this is the case.
We'll find out. I have a little snippet of how it begins. So if it is, please ring the spookery alarm bells, because
is this in the U.S.?
This one. It is in the U.S.
Is this is it about a family?
There are families involved.
Interesting.
Here's another clue for you. I've done another case, a very famous case in this state. Is yours in Texas?
I actually don't remember the state that it was in. I'm not gonna lie. I just know it was US based.
I've revealed my hand, but we're going back to Texas, the land of Bonnie and Clyde, for my Hearts and Spades. But we're 2014 Texas now. Like time is a changing. We're a whole 100 years later.
Yeah. All right. Let's modern Texas. Tell me about it.
That's modern Texas. So, April 8th, 2014. 2 women are driving north on Helium Road, just west of Amarillo, Texas. It's a pretty ordinary Tuesday, about 12:45 p.m., and the 2 women thought nothing of what was supposed to be a very routine drive. However, as they are driving north on Helium Road, they spot a parked Chevy Tahoe on the side of the road. And of course, they're like, oh no, someone's broken down on Helium Road heading north. So they stop and they go and figure out what's going on. And then suddenly Tuesday took a very dark turn. Next to the park Chevy Tahoe, in a ditch, was the body of a woman. She would later be identified as Robin Diane Bledsoe Spielbauer.
This is not the case I thought it was.
So apparently a lot's happening in 2014.
Yeah.
It was the year of broken hearts, baby.
It was.
Maybe. Right in. Was 2014 the year of broken hearts for you, dear listener? Let us know.
Yeah, we got to know.
Here's a weird thing for you. 2014 was the year I graduated high school, so like...
Oh, me too. That's why I'm like, I don't know. Like,
2014's a weird year.
Yeah, it was.
There's a lot of anxiety in that year. It was an anxious year. Okay, so let's talk about Robin. Robin Diane Bledsoe Spielbauer, Robin Diane Bledsoe was born October 23rd, 1981, to Steve and Jackie Bledsoe. She was born in an Air Force base in Atlas, Oklahoma, which is, I don't know, really cool.
Yeah.
She spent her early years along with her sister Brandy in North Dakota before her family moved down to Amarillo, Texas in 1995, the year I was born. She was described as a friend to everyone she met, and her smile would light up a room. And I've seen pictures of her. It's 100% true. She had like a very infectious smile.
Oh.
So her parents had ties to the military, and they'd been married nearly 40 years, and Robin wanted nothing more than to find her soulmate and live like the life that her parents had lived.
Yeah.
She wanted to meet her lifelong partner. She wanted to settle down. She wanted her own beautiful, concrete, nuclear family. It's all she wanted.
Yeah.
Her personality was described as warm, bubbly, outgoing, but unfortunately, that attracted its fair share of bad boys and ne'er-do-wells. And it seemed to be her type. She was very into the bad boy, the I can fix him kind of mentality. Well, I'm like, fair enough, you know. You do you. But thankfully, most of those relationships did not seem to last long. Like they were like, she had her fun, and it was like, actually, you know what? Maybe not.
Yeah. Yeah, we've all been there.
Robin started working at Youngblood's Stockyard Cafe, where she met her friend Erin House. So Erin and Robin got on like a house on fire, pun intended. But while Robin seemed to be attracting bad boys, Erin always seemed to attract the good, clean-cut, good boys, you know, bring them home to mama, like the nice guys.
Yeah, good.
And Erin was kind of like, I'm so sorry, Robin. Like, I really hope that my luck with guys really rubs off on you, because you deserve finding people like this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Robin's dream was to be a stay-at-home mom, white picket fence, the whole shebang. So the girls were kind of like, we're going to get this for you.
Yeah, manifest it.
Manifesting it. We're doing it.
Yeah, that's some
I'm
good girl friendship right there. I love that.
Yeah, get yourself an Erin. Get yourself an Erin House.
For real.
Damn. So, at this point in their lives, both Robin and Erin were under 21. So they weren't drinkers, but they were partiers. They loved to go to the club, dance the night away, have a good time. It was the early 2000s, you know, what was there to do but to, like, cut a rug, you know?
Yeah. And get out there and boogie.
Yeah, you know, shake a tail feather.
Yeah.
And it was on one fateful night in 2003 when Robin met someone very special. 22-year-old Robin met Jeremy David Spielbauer, or JD for short.
Oh.
There's not a lot of info on J.D. Spielbauer. We know that he was born February 1st, 1983, to Marie and Michael Spielbauer. And that's really all I could find of his history. At any rate, at this fateful party in 2003, Robin and J.D. completely hit it off. They danced, they talked all night, romance was in the air, my dude. JD was thoughtful, he was caring, he was considerate, and he was very, very attentive. You know, basically, like, never left Robin's side. Whatever she needed, he got for her. Showered her with affection. This was, like, such a breath of fresh air for Robin.
Yeah, especially first night you meet, like what a woo, like.
Yeah, it's like, man, like, I'm having such, like, shit luck meeting someone, you know, everyone's like, they're a dick or they're an asshole, they treat me bad.
Yeah.
And then suddenly here's this guy, you know, very clean cut, very, like, hi, I really like talking to you. I'm really into you. Can we, like, keep this going?
Yeah, that's literal Prince Charming coming out, you know, on the white horse.
Quite literally. So, JD was also a former member of the Marine Corps. He saw combat in Iraq and Afghanistan. And of course, to Robin, her parents have a military background, so that was like a huge plus. She was like, wow, just like my dad.
Yeah. Wow, dreamboat.
Yeah. JD often told people that he did struggle with PTSD after his employment, and he struggled with crowded places and loud noises. But even so, he was described as polite and hardworking, and Robin was like, love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now that JD was out of the combat zone, he was an automobile mechanic. And Robin was smitten. She was like, this is everything I wanted and more.
She's like, gonna husband him up real quick, like fast.
She's like, that is husband material.
Yeah.
Yeah, she saw her happily ever after. She had gone to the ball. The clock struck midnight, and the carriage and the gown didn't disappear. It was like a perfect Cinderella story, and there was no pumpkin. It was great. Aaron, however...
I'm suspicious.
Yes, Aaron also was suspicious. Good eye. Aaron wasn't convinced. She was like, like, Robin can do better than JD. Let's be honest. Like, she could do better. And she even told Dateline later that she thought Robin was settling.
Oh no, Dateline's involved. This is bad.
Dateline was involved. Spoiler alert, that's how I heard about this case. Sorry. Shout out to Dateline. So... Initially, Erin, yes, had that red flag. She had that, like, maybe not a big fan of JD. But the most important thing, the gal pal that you need, she wanted Robin to be happy. And this was the first time in a long time that she'd seen Robin truly, truly happy after meeting someone.
Yeah.
So, Robin and JD started dating. And 2 months later, Robin was pregnant.
Oh gosh, they were really dating. They were dating hard.
They would date. They were having the dates.
They were dating all day, dating all night.
They were dating.
They were dating.
So at the time, Robin was living with her parents, and JD was living with his grandmother. But she happily moved in with them. So she moved in with JD and his grandmother.
Okay.
Robin gave birth to her and JD's first child, a beautiful daughter named Jaden, I believe is the name of the first daughter, in 2004. And then the two decided to get married shortly after on January 15th, 2005. It did not take long for the couple to get pregnant again, and Robin gave birth to a second daughter named Harley in 2008.
Wow, they kept dating after they were married. That's what they say is the successful thing to a marriage,
you gotta
right?
keep dating after you're married.
Like they say, that's like marriage tips from Spookery.
The dating doesn't stop after you're married. Like, you don't just marry and like, fuck, I'm done dating. No, the dating continues.
You keep dating. Man, well, things were going well.
Yeah, they kept dating all the way up until 2008.
That's when the dating stopped.
That's when the dating stopped. Well, actually, that's when the economy stopped, if you remember. Oh. So, remember, this is where we kind of see these kind of shifts in these sort of cases. The Spielbauers were struggling financially because in 2008, there was the massive market crash.
Gotcha.
So, pretty much the economy was in shambles. Everything kind of just fell through the floor. And these cute, like, little, like, white picket fence, nuclear lifestyles, you know, like, just getting by sort of lives, they completely crumbled. There was nothing.
Yeah.
So... then the couple began fighting and called themselves very on again, off again, which is kind of similar to the Michelina Lewandowska case, if you remember.
Yeah, it is. That's money, unfortunately, is a problem for so many people, and it really does like just crumble families.
Yeah, it's such a huge brink of anxiety. Like, especially like when you feel like yourself is in debt, if you feel like you owe money or you're not getting enough to meet your personal needs, it's a huge form of anxiety. You just take it out on people, friends, family, loved ones. Like, it's an unfortunate symptom.
Yeah, because there's no getting away from it. It follows you in every aspect of life. Well, even while you're at work, you're there going, I'm not making enough money right now. Like, it's just it's tough.
Yeah. So the young couple, they decided that what they needed to kind of bridge this chasm that was starting to emerge because of the financial troubles, the two joined a new church called the Arena of Life Cowboy Church.
What? Where do I sign up?
I wanted to ask, have you ever heard of a cowboy church?
You know what's funny enough, coming from the West, I have never heard of something like this before, but I believe that it exists.
I had also never heard of a cowboy church. I literally read the name of this church a couple times in this case, and I was like, am I missing something? Like, what's happening here? So I looked it up, and then cowboy church turns out is a real thing for us people who do not know the cowboy church. And please correct me if I'm not describing it correctly. But basically, a cowboy church is a church that takes a lot of influence from the Western lifestyle. So, you know, service is very short, sweet, to the point, very come as you are. There's often an arena or like some sort of entertainment field kind of built into the church for like rodeos sort of thing. It's very like, if you think of a rodeo, like those cowboy events, it's that, but then the church is kind of built around that lifestyle, and it's to celebrate that form of life.
Interesting.
So, that's cowboy church, which I did not know existed, and in Texas, you're doing the damn thing. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it sounds like they literally were just like, there was a guy that like on Sunday, his wife was like, we gotta go to church. And he's like, but the rodeo's on Sunday. And then so he literally started his own church that like combined the two. So that way he could be like, babe, we're doing both. We're both happy.
You know, like we're combining our two favorite things, Jesus and the rodeo. It's coming together like it's a match made in heaven.
Jesus loves horses. That's a fact.
Citation needed.
You'll see it in the after notes. I have it already.
Okay, I guess I will chat to someone who knows the Bible better than I do.
That's his favorite animal. Come on. It's common knowledge.
Okay, I thought it was a fish.
Come on.
No, the Jesus symbol is the fish, you know?
It's really a horse. The legs are just not drawn. People get lazy.
They're folded up.
Yeah, it's a horse laying down. It's a horse from the top view. Like, the head is just tucked. We'll talk more about it later. This isn't a class on Christianity. It's fine.
We will discuss this in the recap episode. What does a horse look like from a top-down view?
These are all Alon effects.
Yes, okay. Jesus Christ. At any rate, I'm here for the cowboy church. Like, sign me up. Get me my Stetson. Yeehaw. Let's go.
Cowboy church does sound fun.
So Robin and JD were not big churchgoers in the past. This was kind of like a new journey for them. So joining this particular church was a bit of a shock to a lot of their friends and family. They're like, I'm not saying you can't go to church, but cowboy church?
Yeah, that's a very big lifestyle change. Like you said, it's like from going to no church to just like, hey, this church that we've never heard of, like so specific.
It's like we go from agnostic to cowboy church. You know, I'm not. People change all the time, 100%. Like you do you. It was just a bit of a jarring change for their friends and family, and I get it.
Absolutely.
So supposedly they started going 3 times a week.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
You know what this kind of reminds me of now that I'm thinking back on it?
A cult?
Yes. No. Not what I was going to say. I was going to say back in my other Hearts and Spades case, Casper Zach, the boyfriend, he started going to the gym like 5 times a week.
That's true.
It's an unusual thing. It's like new change of lifestyle, like new hobby, and then you do it a lot. And it's
that is very strange.
I don't know. It's just
but they're both doing it.
Yes, they are both doing it. But I do believe it was JD's choice of church.
Oh, okay. She didn't like being a cowboy.
Maybe she did. Maybe she loved being a cowboy. But I think it was JD who was like, hey, we should go to cowboy church. And then Robin was like, yeah, we should go to cowboy church.
Okay. All right. Well, so it had to be someone's suggestion first, right? Like it's...
Yes. I had to. If someone had been like, you know what church we should go to? Cowboy church.
Unless, I mean, they drove past it one day and they both realized it was a thing and they just happened to look at each other at the same time and go, yes. They just, like, their eyes met and they were just like, yeah, we're going.
You know what? They're like, you know what will get us out of these financial troubles? Cowboys.
I'd like to imagine that's how it happened. It was a mutual decision.
I think so, yeah. They were both like, I've always wanted to live that cowboy lifestyle, yeehaw. I definitely think that, especially when you've got a lot of anxiety and you're like, the financial struggles are always there. I feel like a constant, like, distraction is good, and so that's probably why they started going to church 3 times a week.
Yeah. It's a free distraction. It's like you go and like there's probably free food and camaraderie and other people.
It's a sense of community, and I'm sure it's with people who are also going through things of similar financial difficulties. People who had like a moderate income and then suddenly everything crashed and they were just like, we're all here together. We're all gonna lasso some cows and we're gonna wear our Stetson yeehaw. Let's all, drink some moonshine and have a good time. At this cowboy church, Robin and JD met someone brand new, someone very special. A single mother of 2 named Katie Phipps. So, Katie Yvonne Phipps was born September 28th, 1985. Her father passed away when she was 2, and her mother passed away when she was 18.
Gotcha.
She had 2 young kids, a son named Diego and a daughter named Harley. She'd spent some time in Florida, but she was Amarillo born, and she had a lot of roots there. So, her family was deeply involved in cowboy church.
Yeah, they're like 6 generations deep in cowboy church.
Yeah, like this is their cowboy church, if not, it's they're like the next closest thing. They are part of this community. They've been long baked into this community. So it was kind of nobody's surprise that the Spielbauers and Katie Phipps became very close.
Okay.
Because, they're going 3 times a week. It's Katie's basic home. They're like best friends.
Yeah.
So Katie and Robin actually became the best of friends. They were like, girl, you get it. You get it. You're a mom of 2. Life's hard. Cowboy church.
Cowboy church, man. Preach.
Cowboy church.
It's the live, laugh, love.
It kind of is. However, Erin, our girl Erin, Robin's other friend, got kind of sus of JD's newfound love of cowboy church. She was like, guys are going to cowboy church a heck of a lot. And I'm not saying you can't, but it's a little weird.
But just tell me why. I just want to know why you're going to cowboy church so much. And they couldn't answer that question, and so she got involved.
Well, she actually suspected that JD might be interested in more than just cowboy church. He might be interested in a young woman named Katie Phibbs.
Oh, no. I never would have saw this coming.
I know. She even warned Robin. She was like, hey, I'm not saying that cowboy church isn't the best thing, said sliced bread, but I just think that JD's motivations might not be Jesus. It might be Katie Phibbs.
This Phibbs bitch.
This Phibbs. And Robin had none of it. She was like, no, not my best friend, Rob. No. Katie, JD, they're great. They're good friends. Like, they would never betray me in such a way.
Yeah. Not in the house of cowboys and
not,
Jesus.
Not in the house of Jesus cowboys.
Cowboy Jesus.
Cowboy
How
Jesus.
dare you?
No, not in the eyes of the Lord. But, unfortunately, Erin was right. Behind Robin's back, JD and Katie were having an affair.
No.
It became obvious to everyone very quickly what was going on, and even Robin had to admit that she'd been betrayed, not only by the love of her life, but her newfound best friend.
That's, like, just humiliating, like you said, to have a whole community of people be like, hey, like, you know, like, your husband be fucking someone else, right? And like
your husband be fucking this woman. And she's like, it can't
yeah,
be.
and like everyone. And she's just like, yeah, but like, what can I do?
Yeah, so Robin and JD officially divorced in 2012 after nearly 8 years of marriage.
Jesus.
JD and Katie were married a few months later.
Wow.
Unfortunately, this was not the clean break that anybody wanted. Robin was still stuck on JD. That's the person that she's loved with all her heart for 8 years. And now he was living her dream with another woman and her kids. So, very tragic. I think there was just a lot of bad blood to that whole situation.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It does not sound healthy.
Thankfully, Robin did eventually meet somebody new, a guy named Jared. And he seems, he really does seem like this was everything that Robin needed. Someone who was new, he was straight-laced, someone who could raise her kids, someone who's there for Robin, kind of accepted all of her flaws and was like, hey, we can still go to cowboy church if you want to. Like, I think of your kids as my own.
Wow.
Like, we're gonna get through this. Financially, emotionally, physically, everything.
Yeah.
So, the two couples did remain strained, but it was starting to look like they were both kind of getting closure from this whole bad blood situation.
That's good. Moving on kind of helps, I'm sure, with both of that. Like,
yeah, they both had other things to look forward to.
Yeah.
However, the night of April 7th, 2014, dreaded 2014, Robin decided to go out in her Chevy Tahoe. Nobody thought much of it at the time, but it would be the last night Robin would be seen alive.
Oh gosh, what happened?
So, of course, Robin not coming back that night was a little suspicious. People were like, hey, Robin, you can't just disappear. You've got 2 kids.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody assumed the worst right off the get-go.
Yeah. Why would you?
Yeah. So Robin was back living with her parents at the time. And so I think the biggest thought was, like, who's going to get her, like, Robin's kids to school? Like,
yeah.
Like, we've got work, we've got responsibilities, we've got errands, and Robin, you need to take your kids to school. Like, did she go to Jared's house and fall asleep? Did she forget to set an alarm? Is she at Erin's house? There wasn't an immediate panic, but it was just sort of like, gosh darn it, Robin, that's really inconvenient.
Yeah. You just left your kids here, man. Come on, be more responsible.
It's like they gotta get to school.
Yeah.
So, as I said in the beginning of the story, 2 women were driving down Helium Road, and they would be the people to find Robin, unfortunately, in the ditch.
Jeez.
So these women had no idea what to do. It's like, I imagine like this being us, like if we were just driving down the road and we just saw a body in a ditch, I don't know what we would do.
How does your brain, because your brain doesn't process that, like you see like a person first, right? Like that's how your brain registers it, is like there's a person there.
They didn't even see the person first. They saw the car pulled over and they were like, oh no, somebody needs help.
Yeah, that's it.
So you pull over, you get out of your car and you're walking to this other car to help, and then you see the ditch and then you see a person. And it's just like that, just like, I can imagine like the moment you just freeze and be like, what is this? What happened?
What, yeah.
Have I just made it worse by getting closer to it?
Yeah, right? Like, and like, do I go closer and try to help? Like, does this person like need me, or am I not supposed to touch anything? Like your brain is going so fast of just like, I don't know like how to, like what the right thing to do in this situation is. And it's just like, just call 911.
Yeah. So What these women decided to do is they quickly flagged down another driver. They were like, they were waving their arms. They were screaming. I think they were screaming, "She's dead, she's dead." And they flagged down another driver called Denny Hargrove. He was a local businessman who was just turning onto Helium Road when he saw these two women just flailing, like seeking anything. They looked very distressed.
Yeah.
And it was Denny who called 911.
Yeah, that totally would have been us. We would have just been like, "Help, please! We don't know what to do."
I need an adult.
Yeah, literally. Can't handle this situation.
That's all required. They can't be doing
Literally. Oh, that's too much, Shia.
That's
too much for me.
That's so much, especially with like it's just a Tuesday. It's just a regular old Tuesday.
Yeah. Gosh.
Robin was found in the ditch next to her Chevy Tahoe. Her face and head were covered in dry blood, and she was propped up against the rear wheel tire.
Huh.
So remember, it's just past noon when she was found, so it's absolutely baking. This is a hot day.
Yeah.
Sergeant Alan Mongold of the Randall County Sheriff Department took the lead on the investigation, and it did not take long for Robin's death to be ruled as a homicide. Like, they're like, there is nothing natural about what is happening here.
Yeah.
Robin had a massive blunt force trauma crushed wound on the side of her head, and it was actually initially believed that Robin's cause of death was severe blunt force trauma.
Jesus, okay.
Definitely not self-inflicted.
That's horrible.
It also took a little bit of time for Robin to be identified, as her wallet and cell phone were missing from the scene. So it was one of those, like, we have no idea who this woman is. Her head has been crushed in. Who is this? Instead, officers ran their plates and identified the driver as Robin Diane Spielbauer. Her family was quickly informed, and then they called JD, who was in a state of disbelief. JD immediately ran over to the family home, burst into tears, and was just devastated. So, a thorough investigation of the scene began. The Chevy Tahoe had unusual damage to the window. I believe it was the back window.
Okay.
Lots of scratches and nicks on the window, as well as a strange pink substance smeared across it. They also found some very unusual broken pink plastic chips that matched the smears.
Interesting.
Bit of a mystery.
More on that later.
More on that later. So, when a woman ends up dead, suspiciously, what's the first thing that pops into your mind? I think it happened to you immediately, didn't it?
Yeah, how did this happen? What?
Yeah, so who did it?
Yeah.
And so it's the husband did it, right? They were like, it has to have been the husband.
Well, if not him, the ex-husband.
Yes, so of course Robin wasn't married at the time, so they immediately shift their focus first to Jared, because he was the partner.
Yeah.
So Jared worked at a local bar, didn't have much of an alibi either. He said he was at work until 9:30 p.m., then he went home to play Xbox, and then went to sleep around 11 to midnight.
That can be verified.
And I was like, okay, sure, we can, we'll do what we can with that. So then they questioned JD, the ex-husband. JD's story isn't much better. He was out with his uncle, had a couple of beers, then headed home and passed out.
Gotcha. Okay.
He had no knowledge of Robin heading out that night. JD also put forward a name. He was like, just look into this person. The name he put forward was Chris, who, according to JD, was one of Robin's exes, one of her earlier bad boy era exes.
Interesting.
Apparently he was very into drugs, had a huge tendency to violence, and apparently was still floating around Robin, so he was kind of a lurker.
Interesting. Yeah, that is really suspicious because it's been a long time. So, like, why he's still hanging out? She got kids and stuff.
Yeah. So Katie also backed up JD's alibi. She had been out that night, but said he had plans to drink with his uncle, so he went out, and was asleep when she came home. He was passed out on the couch.
Okay.
She also doubled down to the police that they should really check out this Chris guy. She didn't like him near the Cowboy Church. Bad news bears. So, of course, the police go to Chris. But his mum, weirdly enough, was the one to quickly back him up. So Chris's mother said that he hadn't been around Robin recently, and that he had spent the whole night at home, hanging out with his mom.
Interesting.
So Chris and Jared were quickly dismissed as viable suspects.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
Yes. JD, however, looking pretty good. Looking pretty good as a suspect. Police found issues with JD's story. JD said he was home, passed out with a couple of beers, but then his phone was active around 9:30 to 10 p.m. We're getting into, like, cell phone forensics, which is very cool.
Yeah.
JD quickly backtracked and admitted that he did wake up around 10 with an uneasy feeling, so he called his wife and his uncle to make sure they were both okay. Police checked out JD's text message history, and lo and behold, he had texted everybody at 10:15 that night, including Robin, "Is everybody okay?"
That's just so suspicious.
It's very weird.
That's just like, he either really did, like, you hear people have those, like, feelings. I've had those feelings before where I'm like, something's wrong right now, and then something turns out to be wrong, and it's just kind of like, oh my gosh, like, that weird, like, second, like, second gut feeling. I don't know.
There's a couple of cases on my beautiful Excel spreadsheet that actually have a lot of that, where it's like family members had like a very strange feeling, like the moment one of their loved ones, like something bad happened to them. So like you cannot dismiss that feeling. It's like, it's something guttural. It doesn't hold up in court, but it's very guttural.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
it's suspicious. But
it is suspicious. Robin did not respond, so JD tried to call her with no response. JD dismissed it as she's probably sleeping, it's a school night, she's got her own, like, kid issues to deal with.
Yeah.
But this was also about the time of night that Katie came home. Then apparently the two chatted for a little bit before going to bed.
Okay.
So it's at this point in the investigation that the police start going through some phone records. They revealed that on the night of April 7th, Robin had been swapping messages with someone and had actually left home to meet up with them.
Oh.
It's the person that she'd made plans to meet up with, J.D. Spielbauer.
Oh, some exes, old flames.
Possibly. Even his phone records confirmed this. The messages had happened around 9:15 that evening. Interesting. This is so weird. It's a very unusual case. So JD immediately changes his story. He's like, yeah, actually, you're so right. I did make plans to meet with Robin. But she was going to come over here where I was. After I was done with my uncle, we were going to talk about next steps with the kids. We were going to talk about, child support payments. Like, we were going to do everything. So he had actually called his uncle. He was hanging out with his uncle as a witness for the evening. It wasn't just to drink beers and have that, but it was going to be someone to kind of vouch and make sure that the discussions were fair.
Yeah.
And then it was also as a backup in case Katie came home early and caught Robin in the house, because they were not on good terms.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
sounds like he's really trying to check a lot of boxes, but I don't know if that's the right boxes.
I know. There's a lot of boxes. There's a lot to this story. So Robin never came over, as we know. JD and Uncle had started drinking at this point, so JD was like, okay, she's not coming. We're not doing it tonight. No worries. And he just forgot all about the meeting.
Okay.
Police are like, that's kind of sus, my boy.
Yeah.
So JD is now changing stories. He seems to know more, but it feels like he's covering for someone.
Yeah.
Maybe protecting himself or protecting somebody else.
Protecting Katie.
And this got the investigators thinking, what's JD's motive here? Because he doesn't really have one.
Yeah.
But you know who might have a motive? Katie. So it's no secret, Robin and Katie hate each other. Like it's like pistols at dawn as soon as they see each other. It's very, very hostile.
Yeah, she stole her fucking husband. Like,
yes.
like I would hate that bitch too.
Yeah, there's actually a few reports that Katie and Robin got into physical altercations in the past just by bumping into each other. So,
well, that does not surprise me.
Oh yeah, and now with all of these text message logs and everything, it was starting to come to light that maybe Robin and JD weren't quite done with each other yet either. So that's right, Robin and JD were having an affair while JD was married to Katie.
They need to figure this shit out, man.
It was really fucking messy. It was so messy.
I mean, feelings are very messy, and it is tough. It's tough when you got kids involved. It's tough when there's a lot of moving parts, right? When you're just like, I do want to be the best parent for my kids, and maybe doing that is by being with the other parent, you know what I mean? And so it's tough when, like, there's more than just you involved. It's not just about your feelings. There's a whole family to consider, so...
It is incredibly complicated.
Tough.
And there's now 4 kids involved. There's Katie's kids as well, on top of Robin and JD's kids. It's so complicated. There's so much going on. There's a lot of deep history on every side.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Katie figured out that Robin and JD were having an affair.
Well.
So, time to check Katie's text messages. It is volatile.
Oh, God.
So, Katie had sent walls of messages to JD confronting him about the affair, about two-timing her, how much she hated Robin. In the 4 days before Robin was killed, Katie had sent JD over 330 text messages.
Holy shit. I don't even think I've sent that many text messages in like a month span.
No. I think the most text messages I send are to you, and it's memes. It's not walls of text. These are walls of text.
That's insane.
One particularly incriminating message was, "I'll hurt every single one of you on my way out."
That's, she did it, boys, lock her up.
The icing on the cake was a message that was sent the day Robin was found.
Oh.
My dreams of a happy family are gone. I will not make you carry this burden any longer. You started this whether you want to believe it or not. I will finish it. The police take one look at this and they're like, is that a motive?
Yeah, and it sounds like a confession. Like, I'm going to do this.
So, Katie's alibi was that she was at her friend's house with her son before heading home around 10, which lines up with JD's stories. So if this was true, Katie would not have enough time to leave her friend's house, kill Robin, and then go home. And there was no evidence that put Katie at the scene. Yet.
What was that pink substance?
Don't get ahead of me.
I wants to know. I'm so suspicious. I'm like, is it Pepto-Bismol? Like, what could have been smeared? Like,
We're getting there.
I'm so concerned.
All right. While this is going down, an autopsy is performed on Robin. It was here that her actual cause of death was revealed, and it was a gunshot wound to the back of the head.
They didn't notice a gunshot? Well, that's how bludgeoned she was?
That's how crushed her skull was. They didn't initially see the gunshot wound.
That's awful, man. That's, like, real bad.
The gunshot wound was caused by a .22 caliber bullet hidden amongst the blunt force trauma wounds.
Wow.
So now they're looking for a gun.
Wow.
So, a second search of the scene was performed, and police found bullet casings at the scene amongst more broken pink chips.
Interesting. How were those not found the first time? That's a little weird.
It's dusty, it's the desert, there's wind. I don't know.
I just feel like bullet casings are so distinct and, like...
There might have been a car in the way.
That's true. You're right. I'm not a detective. I don't know.
I can't speak for how it was. I just know that there were 2 searches done. They found the bullet casings in the second search.
How fast, like what is the time span, like, between these 2, like...
I think this was pretty
searches?
quick. I think it took a couple of days for the autopsy to be performed. I think this was like 2 days later. It was like, It was really quick.
Interesting.
So, they're like, we've got bullet casings, we've got more broken pink chips. Let's time to do some searching. So JD's home was immediately searched for possible matches. We're looking for a gun, looking for a .22 caliber. Turns out JD and Katie own several firearms.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is Texas. They're looking for a needle in a haystack. You know how, like, hard it is to go just find one specific .22 in Texas? Like, come on, good luck.
I didn't know you had my script in front of you. My next line is, "This is Texas," and that in itself is not suspicious.
I'm like, that's everyone has a gun. They're like, welcome to Texas. Here's your fucking Glock. Like.
However, there was one small gun that was found. Police were like, I think this might be it. So the police found a .22 caliber Sig Sauer. Please correct me if I said that wrong. I have no idea how to say names of gun makers. I'm so sorry. I'm going to say Sig Sauer or Sig Sauer. Sauer.
That's Corey. I don't know.
I don't own a gun. I'm so sorry. I will fix it in my recap notes. They found this .22 caliber with pink framing.
Interesting. I wonder who would have had pink framing on their gun, Katie.
Same caliber as the gunshot wound inflicted on Robin. The handle of the gun had some of its pink plastic missing, and lo and behold, the pink chips found at the scene matched the missing pieces. The gun belonged to Katie Spielbauer, and there were even Facebook posts of her firing the gun to show it off.
She's like, look at me in my new cowboy outfit and my new gun that matches. And then she goes and commits a murder with that gun. What a dumb...
So,
I'm sorry.
Suddenly...
I'm sorry.
I know, dumb. It's like, huh. So suddenly the pink smears on the window make a lot of sense. The police were like, we got him, boys. So they reevaluate Katie's alibi, which is pretty much the only thing that's stopping this from making sense.
Yeah.
She said she was at her friend's house all day, left at 10, got home at 10:20. Not enough time to commit a murder. But after talking with Katie's friend, she said that Katie left at 9:45, 9:50, which widens the window.
She had her kid with her, though, this whole time?
Anyway.
All right.
At any rate, now the murder is feasible.
Yeah.
So, April 11th.
I was hoping you were going to say that she left the kid at the friend's house. Like, I was really waiting for that.
She brought the kid back home. April 11th, 2014. Katie Spielbauer, who was 29 years old at the time, is arrested for the murder of Robin Spielbauer, who was 32 at the time of death.
All right.
This is only a few days after the murder. This was April 11th, and she was murdered on April 8th. Well, she was found April 8th. So it was really, really quick.
This is fast. Okay.
Katie wasn't able to pay bail, so she sat in Randall County Jail awaiting trial. At this point, JD stepped forward. And JD had a whole new story to tell. Whole new tale.
Wow, JD.
He admits that he had in fact gone to Helium Road to meet Robin.
Oh.
He was sitting in the backseat of Robin's car with her, and they were discussing their kids, their plans for the future, when they heard knocking on the glass.
I hate this. My skin just got the blood skews. I just got the blood skews.
It's such a creepy image of just like sitting in the backseat of a car, just shooting the shit, talking about life, the universe, anything, and then just a...
I imagine her like tapping with the gun and being like, hi.
She was.
Yeah, that's exactly like a crazy psycho bitch would do.
Yeah, pink gun in hand,
Yep.
tapping on the glass.
Wow.
So, JD is like, fuck, wife, ex-wife, not good mix, very volatile. One of them is now armed.
Yeah.
JD decides to try and de-escalate the situation. Girls immediately full-on fight, shouting, screaming, everything except the physical altercation. And JD is just like, Katie, let's go home. Let's go home. Just get in the car. We're going to go home. We can talk about this at home, but we just need to go home. He got in his own car then and drove away, assuming that Katie was following him.
What? He's a coward. Fucking coward.
Katie did not. That's why he sent the text asking if everyone was okay. Next thing he knew, Robin was found dead the next morning.
Coward. He knew.
It's so awful. JD admitted that his shifting stories were confusing and compelling, but he was torn between his ex-wife and his new wife, and he didn't want to believe that either one was capable of murder or hurting another one. JD filed for divorce from Katie while she was in jail.
Fucking coward. He's like, yeah, I didn't know who to support, so I supported no one. I supported myself. I got myself out of that situation, then I divorced the other one while she sat there. Like, he picked no side. That's what he did. He said, nope, fuck you to both of them. He's like, I didn't know who to support, so I was a little bitch, and I sat there and did nothing.
Yep, 100%. 100%. It was like, it's just so hard to just be like morally like standing. So I couldn't help. I just couldn't decide. So I just let them solve it between themselves. Not one of them dead.
Literally, like, he's like the whole reason he cheated on one and then cheated on the other one. And then, I'm so mad. Yeah. I'm so angry for them. Both of them. Like, yeah. Fuck Katie for killing a person. But, like, I'm mad that this is the situation. This is the worst love triangle.
Well, let's get into it, all right? So Katie affirmed a time and time again she did not kill Robin. And she actually took several lie detector tests, which she failed.
Yeah.
Now, good thing, polygraph tests cannot be used in court. They're not admissible at all, but it is suspicious.
Very.
At this point, something isn't sitting right with the investigators.
Yeah.
There is something called cell phone tracking. Are you aware of this? It's like whenever you're like traveling, your cell phone pings to nearby towers.
Yeah, that's why I leave my phone at home when I commit crimes.
100%. It's the thing to do.
I've watched Dateline.
I've watched Dateline. I know. Yes. So that is the thing. You know, when you travel, when you're driving to a grocery store, your cell phone just naturally pings off of towers. It's how you triangulate your location. It's how it's how we can track people's cell phone and their usage and whatnot. It's all there.
It's all there.
Your phone is talking to the towers just as much as the towers are talking to your phone. So Katie's cell phone did ping a nearby tower to the murder, sure, but it's also the exact same tower that her friend's house is near. So it's not very clear, like, was she at the crime scene? Was she at her friend's house? We're not sure when that ping happened.
Yeah, because it's only a general area. It doesn't give you a precise location, like you said. It's like, this is the radius.
Yes, it's a very, like, you were within the radius of this tower.
Exactly.
JD's phone also pinged there, now that he had confessed that he was at the scene.
Yeah.
Robin's wallet and cell phone were still missing, so there couldn't be checked to see if they had pinged.
Yeah.
Katie's story also never shifted. She always told the same story over and over and over again. She always committed to the same thing. JD's story, however, had shifted to probably like story number 6, 7, 8 at this point. Constantly, like little details constantly spiking. And this was very, very suspicious.
But what did Katie say happened? Did she say she just left Robin there?
No, she said she was at her friend's house. She left at 10 and went straight home. She never deviated from that story.
Oh, okay. She never said that.
She never confessed that she even saw Robin that night.
Interesting.
Ever. So she was always like, I was at my friend's house with my kid. We went home at 10. JD was home at 10.
Gotcha.
Like, we got home at like 10:20. JD was home. We went to bed. That was
so JD's story number 5 is the one that revealed, like, oh, I did meet with her. I was, okay. For some reason, I thought that was, I apologize. I thought Katie was the one.
No, it's confusing. Oh, I'm glad you clarified. Yeah, Katie's story never, ever deviated from her original story, where she was just like, yep, Chris is sus. JD and I were home at 10:20. We both went to bed. He was drinking on the couch. I was at my friend's house with my kid. I came home.
Interesting.
Like, that never ever changed. And JD's story is the one that becomes the more enlightening one.
Yeah, but also, can it be trusted?
Keep in mind, Katie's just sitting in jail, waiting trial. People are like, something isn't sitting right with any of this. Like, the whole thing is just so weird. Mm-hmm. So, it was actually a police secretary that had started a new line of thinking with all of this. So, it turns out some smartphones leave a digital trail when they connect to Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Now, Katie's phone had her Wi-Fi feature turned off completely, so that wasn't even a feasible thing. Mm-hmm. But Diego, her son, had his Wi-Fi on the entire time.
Thank goodness for Diego.
And we now know that Katie and Diego were always together. Like, we know that. They never parted. They were always together. Which, if JD's story is correct, that's a horrible implication that Diego was there when all of that went down.
I was going to ask what his thoughts and line of event was the whole night. What did he say happened?
Yes. So, based on how Diego's phone pinged to different Wi-Fi signals, investigators now both knew the whereabouts of both of them for the entire evening.
Yeah, okay.
It took a while for all the data to come back, but the result was undeniable. Katie and Diego had never gone anywhere near Helium Road that night.
You're kidding me.
They never went to Helium Road. Katie and Diego were not at the Chevy Tahoe when things went down.
I'm like actually in disbelief about that. I'm like, did she actually leave their phones there? Like, I don't know. Like, she doesn't sound like she's that forethought though. Like, she doesn't have the forethought to do something like that.
I mean, she turned her phone off, so it's possible that she and Diego got separated. It's not like a completely, like, we know for 100% they were always together, but Diego said he was with his mom all night. I think she said that she was with him all night. And based on that fact alone, that is indisputable. Neither of them were anywhere near Helium Road. At least Diego was never anywhere near Helium Road.
That's so shocking. All right, so with that being said...
So investigators sat Katie down. They were like, you're good to go. We have nothing to hold you here. You're cleared of murder. Katie Phipps was cleared of her murder charges and released from prison 466 days later.
Are you fucking kidding me?
That's over a year for those bad at math. She was in jail for over a year.
Thank you, I am bad
because I did it for you.
Man, oh my gosh. That's a long time.
It's a long time to just be sitting there being constantly told, you did this, just confess. You did this, just confess. And her going, I didn't do this. I was just at my friend's house with my son. And then I went home. That's all she said for a year.
Yeah, you have a recording of me saying, man, fuck Katie. Like, I was ready to throw her away and, like, just...
It's so easy. Like, it's just like, it's convenient truth. That's the whole thing with this. The whole thing is such convenient truth. It's like, well, it was Katie's gun, and Katie didn't like Robin, and so it had to have been this volatile relationship that caused it, but Katie didn't do it.
So back to JD.
Well, hold on. Hold your horses.
Who's Chris? Where's Chris? Does he also have a pink gun?
I keep thinking of our friend Chris, and it's just not a good situation. Shout out to our friend Chris, but it's not him. He's a good nugget.
See, and when I think of Chris, I don't know what Chris looks like. I just think of that guy from Letterkenny because that's what his profile picture is. So that makes it even more fun.
That's so funny. So, Katie's cleared. But this left one hell of a question. Mm-hmm. If Katie didn't do the murder...
Who did?
Who did?
Yeah.
And why did JD go after Katie so hard and try and put her at the scene?
I think we know why. This guilty motherfucker.
So, investigators were back on the trail of JD Spielbauer. It was a whole year and a bit later. Katie was released. It became all too clear that he had deliberately framed his wife for the murder of his ex-wife.
What a piece of poop.
I mean, you can also tell as much just from the gun he chose to go with. He didn't pick one of his own. He didn't pick one of his, military grade, super, amazing caliber guns. He picked a .22 with pink framing because it belonged to his wife and it was a gun that she was proud of.
That's unbelievable.
The pink gun also had a tendency to jam after the first shot, so it wasn't even a reliable murder weapon, but he still chose that gun over all of the other ones he owned because it was Katie's gun.
That's psychopath behavior.
Yeah, so he would go to the scene, he had the pink gun, he was the one that tapped on the glass with the gun, and then presumably shot her and then bludgeoned her, possibly with the gun, or with another weapon that wasn't identified. Since we had the broken chips, it's not certain.
But, like, why? Was this whole reason for... Did he just want to be done with both of them, and this was his way to do it? Like, I just don't actually understand, like, at the end of the day, what his real motive was.
I can probably reveal it now. Yeah, truth. It's a great question. Like, what is the motive for this? Why would JD go through so much trouble to, one, kill his ex-wife and then frame his current wife?
Yeah.
And it really bubbles down to a very, very simple concept. Child support payments.
Wow.
He is struggling financially. He's now got 4 kids that he's legally responsible for. The kids that he has fathered with Robin, and the kids that he is now taking care of with his current wife. She's like, you need to pay child support, and he didn't want to.
Wow. That is just the saddest thing, like you said. And now, the 2 of these kids don't have a mom. And their dad's a murderer.
Yeah. It's terrible. And it's like, what do you think the situation was going to be? Like, he was going to frame Katie, then he was going to have 4 kids that he was suddenly responsible for with no mother for any of them.
I don't think he, like you said, just the logic of it, it's really so stupid, because it's like, at the end of the day, like, the child support, like, it's to support the children. So the children are still alive. You still have to pay to support them. Like, no matter whose care they're in. You dumbass.
But it really is like a tale as old as time, right? Like, this is like grade A, like easy. It's like divorced parents. It's all about the child support. He doesn't want to pay.
Yeah.
But legally he has to. And then if he becomes like the full custody parent, then he doesn't have to pay for child support. He just has to pay for just supporting them in general.
Yeah.
But people don't think about it that way. They think of like, that is an inconvenient money loss for me. And I don't want to, and I'm going to take it out on the person who is inflicting that upon me when I am financially struggling.
It's a literal shoot the messenger situation, like, where it's just...
It's so awful. And it's like, nobody needed to die for this. Robin never deserved to die for this.
No, she's advocating for her children. She's like, yes, you fathered these children and you need to be responsible for them. And he's like, fuck you. And it's just kind of like, all right, you dumb man that cannot take the responsibility for your own actions. Like, come on.
Well, if it isn't the consequences of thy own actions.
100%. All of this is like a man that's just running around, just not taking any responsibility for literally anything he does, and is just once again trying to pin it on another woman. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's gross. It's so gross.
It is. Wow.
So,
JD, you suck.
So after he committed the crime, JD then brought the gun back home and put it back in its storage place, so knowing that the police would find it, because they knew they were going to search the house.
Yeah.
And they found the weapon.
And he was like, wow, this is all working out exactly how I wanted it to. I'm so glad things caught up with him.
Yes. Surveillance footage was uncovered that actually put JD's car, a car that looked an awful lot like JD's car, near Helium Road around the time of the murder. Though they couldn't 100% prove that it was his. I think the license plate was obscured. Alternatively, Katie's car, or a lookalike of Katie's car, was near the crime scene. So, once again, scot-free. So, 9 months after Katie's release, so 9 months after Katie was released scot-free, no charges lifted. Mm-hmm. So about 2 years after the actual murder, JD asked his mother-in-law, Robin's mother, for a ticket to New York for the weekend.
Please tell me she said no.
So Marie Bledsoe was immediately like, red flag, something doesn't feel right. Why do you need a ticket to New York all of a sudden? New York kinda suspicious.
Yeah.
And New York also kinda suspiciously close to Canada, where he would have been unextraditable.
So she called the Popo right away, right, please?
So she was like, hey, police, I don't wish to alarm you, but I think JD's got a plan to heckin' leave town.
Yeah.
He's trying to get out of here. He asked me for a ticket to New York. So, April 16th, 2016, 2 years after the murder, nearly to the day, JD was arrested and charged with the murder of Robin Spielbauer.
Better late than never, I guess, right? Like, at least it happened.
Yeah. Sometimes justice be slow, but sometimes it needs to be slow. Because if they had gone like full force with this, Katie would still be in prison. She would have been convicted, would have been an open shut case.
Yeah.
She would still be screaming to this day that she didn't do it, and that would have been that.
And no one would believe her. But truly, I just can't believe he had the audacity to turn around, murder this woman, and then ask her mom for like a ticket, like a get out of jail free card, basically. He's just like,
I know, it's the audacity, right? The audacity of this man.
It really is, where he's just like, hey, I know I murdered your daughter and everything, but would you mind paying for my ticket to out of here so I could not get charged for her murder?
It was just like, it's so tragic that my other ex-wife killed my other ex-wife, your daughter. And
anyway,
now I am the only financially responsible adult for 4 children. Can I go to New York on your dime, please?
Literally, like, it's... God.
I was like, of all the people to ask as well, like, have you not got other people that you want to ask? Or, like, have a GoFundMe? Like, let's have a GoFundMe so I can vacation with my 4 kids to New York.
Ask your boss for, like, an advance on your paycheck before you go to the woman who you murdered's mom. Like, there's just a lot of other... I'd go to a check advance, like, you know? Like, I'd go pawn some shit. Like, I'd be like, yeah, I could get rid of my car. Like, there's just so many other options where it really shows the stupidity and the audacity of this man. They go hand in hand.
I know, the audacity. And I'm like, fuck JD, man. Fuck JD.
Man, put him in a room with Ed Kemper for a little bit.
So, yeah, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Police were all, constantly struggled with pinpointing a motive for JD, and it was revealed that Robin and him had been making plans to meet more frequently to have the affair, yes, but also because Robin was demanding more child support payments and JD didn't want to pay. So, I think the affair was probably him trying to distract Robin, truthfully, and I think that's such a gross thing to infer. But
it sounds like it.
It was possible. Like, she probably came to him, she's like, you need to pay child support payments, and he was like, you look so beautiful today, Robin, and knowing that she had a soft spot for him. Like,
if I spend this money on these kids, though, I can't spend this money on you, and you deserve a new dress. Let's go on a date, baby. And she's like, oh.
Yeah. They be dating.
Yeah,
you know?
They'd be dating. Yeah.
They be dating. So, his logic was, by killing Robin, framing Katie, he wouldn't have to deal with expensive divorce proceedings either. Because, you know, he and Katie were were a little bit hot water because Katie was suspecting that they were having the whole affair, and she was like, don't like this, don't want this, I need to get out of this.
Yeah.
So he was like, 2 birds with 1 stone, I get rid of expensive divorce proceedings and I get rid of child support payments. Perfect crime. God. Problem solved. So,
God.
JD went to trial January 15th, 2018, just over a year and a half after he was arrested.
Wow.
Bit of a common theme. They're quick to arrest,
and then they kind of sit in there for a while.
And then they get all of their evidence ready.
It seems like there's a lot of waiting with crimes like in the background.
I think the criminal justice system is not perfect, and I think waiting is probably good. Because I know we're all very quick to be like, quick justice, you know, he's a monster, we need to get him behind bars. But it's also like, on the off chance that what if they're not the monster we think we are, and it's emotions running high, or we miss something. It's like, I would much rather wait and get the right person behind bars than put an innocent man behind bars.
100%. Like you said, would I rather, like, if this was me in the situation, if I was Katie, would I rather spend, you know, an extra year in jail and like wait for them to do the actual digging of evidence and like doing everything, or like you said, just throw the book at you right away and then you're in for life. Like, there's no, like, yeah, as unfortunate as it is, like that year, like you said, it's part of the justice system that we have in place here, and that just it needed to happen, and it sounds like they got the right person at the end of the day. So
yeah, 100%. Katie Phipps was actually brought in to testify at JD's trial. And it was kind of perceived as equally her trial, because she really had to prove without a shadow of a doubt that she was 100% innocent and he was 100% guilty. Because basically it really it was a pendulum that swung between the two of them. Yeah. JD's biggest defense was, no, it was Katie. We got her the first time, and like, she's wiggled out on a technicality. And Katie's defense was, no, I've been cleared beyond a shadow of a doubt. It can't be me. He's trying to frame me and make me look bad.
God, what a trial.
So, I'm sure it was a wild one too. The cell phone tower evidence was the big kicker. It put JD at the scene of the crime and exonerated Katie. The other big piece of evidence was how many times JD changed his story. He was on like story 17 by the time he went to jail, constantly fluctuating, constantly. It's Katie, she's a bad mom, she made me lie for her, you know, she's manipulative, she's horrible, she hated Robin, I loved Robin, and we were trying to get back together, Katie got in the way. It was all so freaking messy. But Katie never ever strayed from her story. She was always, I was with my friend, with my son, and then we went home. It never changed from that. The text messages between Robin and JD were used, as well as the text message between JD and Katie, which kind of, you know, it's a bit messy, but of course it's a volatile relationship, so it wasn't as strong as the cell phone tower and the story changing.
Yeah.
There were also witnesses who may or may not have been other girlfriends of JD.
All right.
Who admitted on stand that they heard him say it would be better if Robin had a bullet to her head.
Wow. Why does that not surprise me that he had other girlfriends and that he would like actually confess murder plots to them?
I feel like with JD, I don't think it was just the two of them. I definitely think that there were many girls that maybe he was the stud of the town. I've seen pictures of him. I'm not particularly impressed. But, maybe small fishing hole.
Yeah, who knows, like you said. Or maybe they're all looking for that cowboy and he just was that cowboy. I don't know.
Yeah, but even at the beginning, we said, he was seen as polite, he was seen as attentive, he was seen as hardworking. He had these impressions of like the perfect white picket fence kind of lifestyle.
Yeah.
And it's not, especially when like emotions are running high, it's not hard to exist. Like, I love you, baby. I'm just with the wrong girl, but I'm trying, man. I'm gonna be there for you. Like, you're all that I want. It's
honey words can really get some people. They're sweet.
It's very sad. So, trial lasted a full 2 weeks. Lots of back and forth. Katie going to JD, JD going after Katie. At the end of it, the 12-man jury deliberated for 3 hours.
Wow. I'm shocked that it was only 3 hours, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not shocked it was 3 hours. I would think I would be more shocked if it was like a 12-hour, but 3 hours I think is kind of, it's especially because for these people, it really was is it Katie or is it JD? It's just that's the fluctuation.
Yeah.
But after 3 hours of deliberating, they unanimously declared JD was guilty of committing felony murder. Now, this is an important distinction to make: capital murder versus felony murder, because they're different.
Okay.
And I didn't realize it at the time, but I was also like, why do we see felony murder and not capital murder?
Yeah.
So, felony murder is the simple charge of killing someone. Capital murder is knowing you're going to kill them. So, capital, it's a bit like the first-degree murder and the second-degree murder that we talked about in my last Hearts and Spades. I'm always just breaking down the definitions of murder, I found out.
It's important to know.
Yeah, so capital murder is like, I am deliberately choosing to buy this weapon, to do this thing, and go kill this person. And felony murder is like, it could go one way or the other. I don't want to kill him, but it might go that way.
Well, and so what did he get?
He got felony murder. He got the lesser charge.
How though? Because it's like
I don't know. I don't know how that happened with Lewandowski either. I don't know. I do not know. I don't know why this happens.
Well, I think a lot of the time, from at least what I've seen from like movies, I don't know how often this happens in real life, but I think they go with the lesser charge sometimes just to be on the safe side to make sure they actually get the conviction. Because sometimes I feel like when things are so dicey, when they're like it's by a hair that they could even be convicted, they're like, let's go with the lesser charge to just make sure he even gets convicted. Because if they go big and then they have to go home, that's it. They get one shot. Like, you don't get to do that again.
Yeah. So, double jeopardy. I don't know. It just feels weird. Like, if you're going to the process of charging someone for murder, regardless, not even like attempted murder or manslaughter. Like, it's felony murder and capital murder are different, because I think you can also have like felony like manslaughter. It's more like you can. I think you've already gone to convict, like you're going to convict for the murder charge. That's already a big deal. Yeah. So it just feels weird that they went for the lesser felony and not like it was manslaughter, it was an accident, the gun went off. Especially in a case like this where it's like it doesn't matter who did it, it was intentional. The gun was brought there for a purpose. There was no there was no other purpose. And this gun was chosen for a reason as well. Exactly. So it's like I think that distinction was important. And I'm sad that it wasn't made. Yeah, it feels wrong to me, and maybe that's just because I'm an angry true crime podcaster who's just like, get them all in prison. Yeah, these poor women are being attacked, and we need to take care of them. And it's just. But I agree. So, JD was awarded life in prison with the possibility of parole, as well as a $10,000 fine. So, naturally, JD and his defense team filed an appeal. They were like, that was unfair. I didn't do it. It was Katie. She's framing me. It's a conspiracy. The women are colluding. It's all terrible. The murdered woman and the other women are colluding. Yes, they're all coming for me. I'm an innocent bystander in this tumultuous triangle we call love. The defense also stated that they were simply not given an ample opportunity to vet the jury before the trial began. And JD stated he was not granted effective representation at trial. So his legal team were like, hey, we didn't get to pick the jury. We didn't have ample say in the jury. And that caused the way that they voted. And then JD was like, my legal counsel isn't doing me the good stuff. I got caught. Like, you can't do this to me. So,
wow.
Yeah. January 2020, the 7th Court of Appeals reversed JD's conviction.
Wow.
The court ruled that the trial judge abused their discretion by not allowing his defense attorney to change some members of the jury pool. Was the actual quote was used. They denied that JD didn't have an effective counsel, though, especially because he was caught lying. So they were like, JD, shut up. Your counsel was fine. But yes, the jury pool, not great.
Huh.
However, May 2021, prosecutors filed for an appeal for the reversal.
I love this.
And they won.
Oh, yeah. That's amazing. They're just like, no, actually, you were right the first time. And he's like, you know what? Yeah, I was right the first time. You're right.
I was right the first time. It was found that there was, in fact, no errors with the jury selection. So the original trial would stand. His life sentence and $10,000 fine back in place.
So they were like, sorry, we let you out. That's our bad. We actually, can you get back in jail for us, please? That $10K you do owe us.
JD, my bad, but didn't mean to give you false hope, but actually, like, go back.
Yeah, you guilty as fuck.
Back in there, boy.
That's so our justice system. We were just talking about how silly it is, but necessary it is sometimes. This is so silly. That's so silly.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, like, can you imagine, like, the fucking, like, it's the last, it's like an M. Night Shyamalan film, right? It's like the last plot twist, like, help me, it was overturned. Everyone's like, oh! And then, like, the final twist in the last 5 minutes was, just kidding, everything was the same. And
then
was like, oh,
back
my
in
God.
jail, and then he's just JD standing there behind bars, the door slamming. Like, oh my God.
So where are they now? Let's find out.
Yes.
So, JD is currently held at James V. Allred Unit in Wichita Falls, Texas, and unfortunately will be eligible for parole in April of 2046. So we've got 23 years, but he will be eligible for parole in 23 years.
You don't like it.
Katie Phipps went on to pursue a degree and actually graduated from West Texas A&M with a degree in legal studies.
I love that.
I know, like, good for Katie. Like, we were so mad at her earlier, but now here we are. She's fucking thriving.
I know. She's like, you know what, this law shit, it's kind of fun. I'm gonna learn a little bit about this stuff because it's kind of fucked.
She's like, absolutely, I can do that.
Yeah.
And I can do it better.
Yeah, like 100%. Go, girl. I love that for her. Go, Katie.
So she's now the director of strategy at Ignite U1, which is an organization that aims to inspire people through personal stories and sports. So it's kind of, it's a big community thing, a bit like Cowboy Church, but like a different form of empowerment.
A bit like Cowboy Church.
I didn't want to say more empowering. That's not correct. Cowboy Church is great.
It's
a different type of empowerment.
Wow.
Robin and JD's kids went to their maternal grandparents, so Robin's mom and dad took care of them. The community has done several fundraisers to make sure that the kids get a good life and are taken care of the way Robin would have wanted. So huge rallying around this family. They were just like, JD sucks. Here you go, Robin. Here's that child support that you deserved the whole time.
Yeah. Man.
Robin is buried in, I'm going to say it's Llano. I don't think it's Llano. Llano. It's the two L's.
Gotcha.
Llano. I think it's Llano. It's buried in Llano Cemetery in Amarillo. Her grave reads, "You filled our hearts with love." And that's the story of Robin Diane Bledsoe. Amazing mother, life cut tragically short, and just got involved with just an absolute piece of shit.
Yeah. That is the unfortunate story of so many people. Like you said, you meet one piece of shit and it can ruin your life.
Yeah. But I think from everything that I saw, I didn't look too much into what the kids are up to now, because they do deserve privacy and they deserve closure, especially with JD's thing being like reversed and then unreversed.
Yeah.
They just deserve peace of mind. So I didn't look too much into them, but from what I could see, they are thriving. They're doing well. They're living to the best memory of their mother. They're a huge advocate for just like domestic abuse and like just advocating for single mothers and making sure that people like JD don't thrive and aren't. It's not so easy for them to just frame their ex-wives.
Yeah. Well, that is, like you said, just such a tragic and unfortunate story. I am very sad for Robin, but I am happy to hear that her kids are at least doing the best that they possibly can be. And like you said, turning a negative situation at least into something that is inspiring and, it sounds like kind of gives their life some purpose in some ways. You know what I mean? Like having a good mission like that to strive for in life, not it's hard. So I'm glad that they are at least turning that into the most positive thing that they can.
Yeah, and I just huge shout out to everyone in their community in Amarillo, Texas, and the little town, and the cowboy church especially, for just like rallying around together and just being a community and taking care of these people. Like, it was a really awful situation, and you guys are stand up, and just good on you for taking care of your own, because like we need more of that in our life. We need people to just look out for each other.
Absolutely, that sense of community, like you said, it's very, very rare to find, especially nowadays. So the fact that there is that community out there that is so strong and does take care of their own, that is very special.
Yeah, but that's my story. That's my second Hearts and Spades case. I'm done for the rest of the season.
Yeah. Like you said, hopefully next season they spare you on that topic.
I'm kind of hoping it goes to you, because I would love to hear your interpretation of Hearts and Spades, but I think we've done enough for me.
And I have mine ready to go the minute I get this category, so I know what I'm doing.
Maybe your next wheel spin will be Hearts and Spades. Who knows?
Right? You never know.
I've realized I've probably jinxed it, right? So that next, like, when you actually do your wheel spin, we can't have it land on Hearts and Spades.
Right? Gosh, I'm very eager now to see what I do get. But I'm excited to see what you get, because you are deserving of a new category, ma'am.
All right, let's dust off our handy dandy spookery wheel TM. Let's find out what my next category is.
Come on, spookery spirits.
Oh, give me a good one. Mama needs a new pair of shoes. Please.
I'm so nervous.
Oh my god, okay. Hold the presses.
I feel like you're getting a first-time category. It's like,
I've never had this one before, and I really wanted it.
Get it.
I really wanted this one. My next category is conspiracy theories.
Conspiracy theory. Wow. Ladies first conspiracy theory.
I'm having a very tricksy season. I'm having like my first one was like hoaxes, and then I had like unsolved, and now I had Hearts and Spades, and now I'm having a very very tricky season. I
know, you pulled the rug out from under me in every case you've done so far, basically, and now you're about to do it again. I'm sure of it. So I'm great. Even this one, you didn't need to do that. You had me convinced it was Katie this whole time, and then you're like, haha, I got you. You just like that's the goal. I feel like every episode you're just like, can I trick Alana?
I feel like that has actually become my mantra for the season is, can I trick Alana?
Well, you've succeeded. I will say that you've absolutely succeeded.
3 for 3.
All right, well, 4 for 4. Let's go.
All right. I mean, at least this one, that I'm coming to trick you. So, and it's a conspiracy theory, so maybe I'll trick myself in my confusion. Who knows? But I'm excited. When you got conspiracy theories, I was so jealous. Like, I finally get to do it. I'm like, yes.
Oh man, I'm really excited to see what you pull from, because conspiracy theories are as old as time itself. That you could pick anything.
They are. I have to consult my spreadsheet. I think I have at least like 12 on there. I love conspiracy theories. I eat that shit for breakfast. I love it.
Let's go, ma'am. Well, I cannot wait.
Well, ma'am, speaking of episodes next week, do you want to tease your cryptids folklore episode, ma'am?
Absolutely. So like I said last week, this is going to be a folklore case. This is one that is actually kind of like some local legend here in Arizona. So I'm really excited to share it with everybody next week.
Ooh, it's got Major Talipo vibes already, because that was a very near and dear local Arizona. And then it wasn't. Yeah. And then it spiraled out of control. But, but man, I am legit so excited. I think that's gonna keep me sane while I research my conspiracy theory. I don't even know what I'm gonna pick.
I know you have so many options for conspiracy theory. That is like such an endless topic to be able to choose from. So like you can pick anything.
I can pick anything, and I don't know. I feel like I'm also due something big. Like it's been a very quiet season so far. I feel like we've had a lot of one-parters, and it's. I feel like it's coming. There's something brewing.
Something.
Something. We'll see.
Well,
we'll see.
I look forward to you surprising me, I'm sure, next week with something crazy.
Yeah, I will. I will keep you posted.
Or not next week. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah. 2 weeks.
I will. In 2 weeks, I will keep you posted. I'm sure you'll. As soon as I decide on what I'm gonna pick, I'm sure you're gonna get bombarded with teasers. But it's that's neither here nor there. Next week's all about you, baby.
Oh man, I cannot wait. Like I said, I get to take you home with me and share you around Arizona. It's gonna be awesome.
I am so excited.
Well,
on that spooky note, where can they find us, Alana?
Well, you can find us on social media at Spookery Podcast. That's like Instagram, Twitter, or X as it's called now. I don't know.
I like Twix, personally. That's what I've been calling
I
it.
like it. You can find us on Twix at Spookery Podcast.
Yeah, you can find us on Threads. You can find us on YouTube.
On the YouTubes.
On the YouTubes
Yes.
at Spookery Podcast.
Where can they send us an email, lady?
They can send us a Gmail at spookerypodcast@gmail.com. Please correct how I said guns or locations or cemeteries or anything in Texas, really. Texas is not my strong suit, and yet I keep coming back.
I do the same thing with Australia. I'm like, I know nothing about Australia, and yet here I am again. Third case, let's go.
I found myself in the outback once again.
It just happens. I don't know, you're very drawn to a place, and you keep ending up there.
I know. I was like, because I think I did my last 2 cases were both in England, so I was like, I need to get out of the UK. I need to get out of here. And I was like, where do I go? Texas.
Clearly.
This never let me down. Texas has never let me down. And then I got here and I was like, oh, actually, I can't pronounce any of this.
I feel that.
Turns out I'm saying helium wrong road. It's like, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Right? It's Hellrium. Come on.
Yes. Helium.
Helium.
Temp, Arizona. Look, Arizona, they got problems, man.
They don't know how to pronounce things. Glendale.
Next you're going to tell me it's not Glendale.
It's 100% Glendale. It just is.
It just is. Man. But thank you guys for coming with me on another Hearts and Spades adventure. It's been another blast. I'm kind of happy that I can put this category down again, and I'm kind of hoping I don't get it for season 3, because, like, enough's enough.
Watch this be your one category you get every season. We can always look forward to a lady Hearts and Spades.
I'm always asking for cults, and I only get Hearts and Spades. Maybe I can find a way to, like, incorporate the 2, where it's like, I know I didn't get cults, but I did a cult anyway. But it's a Hearts and Spades.
We got kind of close. We edged it a little bit, I feel like, with the Cowboy Church.
Just a little bit with the Cowboy Church, but, like, I have nothing but the utmost respect for Cowboy Church. Like, they're doing the damn thing.
No.
You live your Western lifestyle. You rodeo. You clown. You do whatever you gotta do.
I'm like, they're not hurting anyone.
Wear your Stetsons and your cowboy boots with pride.
Yeah, those boots were made for walking.
And that is what they will do.
That's what we gotta ask. We gotta go to the Cowboy Church. They would know if cowboy boots were made for snow. They would know.
That's such a weird quick.
We can email them real quick and just be like, hey.
Arena of Life Cowboy Church. Are cowboy boots made for walking on the snow? Is that what they will do?
And we will address it in the recap.
Yeah, that's a research point for sure. We need to figure out, can you walk in cowboy boots?
I don't know for certain. It's funny because we talk about it every time. I still haven't Googled it, but it haunts me every time someone brings up cowboy boots. I'm like, cowboy boots, snow.
Yeah, I see, every time I see someone wearing cowboy boots, I'm like, can you walk in snow? I know that's not a problem right now, but, like, could you?
Could you, if you wanted to? Do you have that capability?
Yeah. Do you think you are stable enough to walk in snow in those shoes? Is your attire snow-worthy? I must know.
I must know. Especially here in Arizona, it's such a weird question to ask. They're like, were you expecting snow? Like, what the fuck?
It's a weird one for Florida, too, let's be honest. We're not in snow states.
No, we're not.
We are not there.
Get a little bit up on the mountains, and you look at it from down here in the valley, and you're like, wow, is that snow all the way up there?
It's like, could I cowboy boot up there? Could I? Oh, man. Well, thank you, ma'am, and every listeners for coming with me on this adventure. It's been wonderful. I cannot wait to Conspiracy Theory, and I'm so looking forward to Alana's case next week.
Yes.
And it's just season 2, man.
Season 2.
What a blast.
It's been a wild ride so far. Still no trigger warnings. Other than this minor fake one.
Other than my fake trigger warnings, yes. Well, see, we said that, but you might have unless you don't have a trigger warning for your...
I don't.
No trigger warning.
There's no trigger warning.
We've gone very soft. We went so hard last season. We were like, we can be soft.
We can be a little soft. Spooky can be soft. That's all right. We proved it.
Yeah, the last season was trigger warning, and this season is trickery.
Trickery.
I'm here to pull the rug. Oh, also, Spookery listeners, raise your hand if I got you, because I want to know. Did you think Katie did it? I just want to know. I want to count of how many people got.
I feel like you got a lot of our Spookery listeners for sure.
I'm trying. This is the season of getting got.
Getting got. That's what you got to name this episode. Get got.
Did you get got?
Did you get
with
got?
Lady and Alana? All right. Well, on that note,
yes.
How do we end this? Fuck. What did we say?
Until next time.
Stay spooky, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye. How do we end this? The look of defeat.
I my brain was like, I had it in my head. I had the, until next time, stay spooky. And then as soon as like, on that note, and my brain was like, that was not correct. You have deleted everything. And I was like,
on that note, I am Lady.
On that note, stay spooky.
Stay spooky.
Stay spooky.
Stay
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Oh, fuck. So while all of this is going down, now, while all of this is going down.
Well, it's all going down.
It's all going down. It's all going down. It's all going down.